नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरे। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Verse 29-30 onwards. बर्हिष्मती नाम पुरी सर्वसम्पत्समन्विता न्यपतन्यत्र रोमाणि यज्ञस्यङ्गं विधुन्वितः कुशाकशास्त एवासन् शश्वद्धरितवर्चसः ऋषयो यै पराभाव्य यज्ञज्ञा यज्ञमीजिरे। भरेष्मती नाम पुरी सर्वसम्पत्समन्विता न्यपतन् यत्र रोमाणि यज्ञस्यङ्गं विधुन्वतः कुशाकशास्त एवासन् शश्वद्धरितवर्चसः ऋषयो वै पराभाव्य यज्ञज्ञा यज्ञमीजिरे। बर्हिष्मती Nama named, Puri city, Sarva Sampad all kinds of wealth, Samanvita full of, Nepatan fell down, Yatra where, Romani the hairs, Yajnasya of Lord Bor, Angam his body, Vidhunvataha shaking, Kushah kusha grass, Kasha kasha grass, Te they, Eva certainly, Asan became, Shashvadharita of evergreen, Varchasaha having the color, Rishayaha the sages, Yai by which, Parabhavya defeating, Yajnagnan the disturbers of the sacrificial performances. Yajnam, Lord Vishnu, Ijire, they worship. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The city of Barhishmati, rich in all kinds of wealth, was so called because Lord Vishnu's hair dropped there from his body when he manifested himself as Lord Bor. As he shook his body, this very hair fell and turned into blades of evergreen kusha grass and kasha grass, another kind of grass used for mats, by means of which the sages worshipped Lord Vishnu after defeating the demons who had interfered with the performance of their sacrifices. Purport: any place directly connected with the Supreme Lord is called Pithasthana. Barhishmati, the capital of Swayambhu Manu, was exalted not because the city was very rich in wealth and opulence, but because the hairs of Lord Varaha fell at this very spot. These hairs of the Lord later grew as evergreen grass, and the sages used to worship the Lord with that grass after the time when the Lord killed demon Hiranyaksha. Yajna means Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, karma is described as yajnartha. Yajnartha karma means work done only for the satisfaction of Vishnu. If something is done for sense gratification or any other purpose, it will be binding upon the worker. If one wants to be freed from the reaction of his work, he must perform everything for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Yajna. In the capital of Swayambhuva Manu, Barishmati, these particular functions were being performed by the great sages and saintly persons. Hare Krishna. So we're reading the section where Manu gets his daughter married, and after the marriage he returns back to his home. So yesterday we saw that how getting the daughter married is one of the most important duties of the father, and after the daughter is married he feels very relieved, because that's the most important responsibility of the father. So the girl should be in the custody of the parents till marriage. After marriage, the husband takes care, and then at the end of the life, children take care. So for this father, Manu, she was very dear, so it was a great separation, feelings of separation he experienced while returning back. So after returning back, the residents of the city, Barishmati, they welcomed Manu with great jubilation. King has returned back, so they performed great welcome ceremony with songs, prayers, and musical instruments. And now today, in this verse, you will see that the description of Barishmati is given. So Barishmati Nama Puri Sarva Sampat Samanvita. So the city was filled with all opulences. Sarva Sampat Samanvita. It is the headquarters, capital city of Manu Maharaj. Like if you go to Delhi, you will see the capital, it's the capital of India, and you will see best facilities available there for the king. There is Raj Bhavan. So the Prime Minister's home and everything is there. Assembly halls, parliaments is there. So it's made with good design and a lot of opulence and show of power will be there. So here also Barishmati is Sarva Sampat Samanvita. And another special quality of this Barishmati city, because of which the name Barishmati came, was the Lord Varaha, when he was fighting with Hiranyaksha, so at the time Varaha used to shake his body. So in that shaking, so the hair of Lord fell at this place. So that hair transformed into grass, which is called Kusha grass, which is a holy grass, which is generally used in all puja ceremony. One sits on the Kusha grass and one places the Kusha grass around the yajna. So then the yajna is done. So Nyapatan yatta romani yajnasya angam vidhunvataha. So when he was shaking, so yajnasya, here Lord is referred to as yajna, and especially Lord Varahadev is called as yajna. Lord Varaha is also called as Vedas yajna personified. So that is the speciality of this city, Barishmati. The Prabhupada takes this word yajna and elaborates in the purport, and he says that one should satisfy Lord Vishnu by performance of yajna. Right? Prabhupada says here, yajna means Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, karma is described as yajnartha. Yajnartha karma means work done only for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Yajnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. So Krishna is teaching how one should work. So our work should be for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. Yajnarthat. For the sake of Lord Vishnu one should work, not for any other purpose. So by doing that, we become freed from all karma bandhana. But if we do work not for Vishnu but for our own sense gratification, then it binds us in karma bandhana. Yajnarthat karmana anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. If you do something else, anyatra work, it will bind you in bondage. Karma bandhana. So we do some action, we get reaction. And to counteract that reaction, we do more action and we get into more reactions. So more we try to counteract the miseries of this world, more we get bound tightly. Just like we have this experience with the wires. Sometimes people just rotate, keep it there. And in the morning when they come for setting up, more you try to remove, more it gets tight. Knots will be tight. Right. So, but Prasanna Purva knows a way which is easy to. And if you do like that, then so it's art of work. Everything has to be done in a specific way. If you do in a wrong way, then bondage. If you do in a right way, service is accomplished and there is no bondage or attachment also. Similarly, in this world also, people work to earn money, people work mainly for Udara Bharanam and Kutumba Bharanam. So that involves a lot of karma, and there is chance that one gets attached to the fruits of the work. Then attachment is generally for the fruits of the work. And that attachment binds him to this material world. Right? Prabhupada quotes the famous verse, how the bondage starts. He says that Pumsas Triyam Mitini Bhavametam Tayor Mito Hrade Granthi Mahu Ata Griha Kshetra Suta Aptavite Janasya Moham Aham Mameti. He says that when a person desires to enjoy in this material world, when man and woman come together, then all facilities come, Graha, Kshetra, Suta, Aptavita, and one gets attached. Aham Mameti, this is mine. I am the owner of this. In this way the bondage starts. So that's why the work has to be dovetailed in Krishna service. So Prabhupada gave this word dovetail. Dovetailing means what? Whatever we are doing, do it for the sake of Krishna. Krishnarthya akhila karma. For the sake of Krishna, do all activities. So Yajna Sangam Vidhanvataha. So the Lord is called as Yajna, and all the activities are meant to be done for His pleasure. Prabhupada says if something is done for sense gratification or any other purpose, it will be binding upon the worker. If one wants to be freed from the reaction of his work, he must perform everything for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Yajna. Now the speciality of Bharishmati is, in the capital of Swayambhu Manu Bharishmati, these particular functions are being performed by the great sages and saintly persons. So a lot of Yajna was happening in Bharishmati. Right? Kusha Kashasta Evasan Shashvat Dharita Varchasa Rishyoyai Parabhavya Yajna Jnan Yajna Vijire. Right? So by means of these Kusha grasses and Kasha grass, which the sages, by means of which the sages worshipped Lord Vishnu after defeating the demon who had interfered with the performance of their sacrifices. After Hiranyaksha was killed, then the sages, they took this Kusha grass and started worshipping the Supreme Lord. So that's the Kusha grass is considered very auspicious and holy grass. So these are some of the points here. Now how to practice this in Kali Yuga, modern age? Right? We don't find much Kusha grasses here and there. Neither we have the facility to do Yajna continuously. So what is the best method? Sankirtan. So Srila Prabhupada recommended that one do Sankirtan, and by that Sankirtan things will be accomplished. Whatever is accomplished by doing Yajna, as mentioned in this verse, can be accomplished by doing Nama Sankirtan. Right? In Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada says in that verse, Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhava yajnat bhavati parjanya yajna karma samudva. So from yajnas, rains come, from rains, grains grow, and grains will be eaten by us, and we sustain, we survive. So Prabhupada writes, in Kali Yuga we should do Sankirtan, Harinam, and by Harinam Sankirtan rains will come. Right? So that's the main process in Kali Yuga. And Prabhupada also gave many practical incidences where, like in Hyderabad, there was no rain. Prabhupada sent his devotees to do Kirtan, and then rain came. So those kind of incidences Prabhupada says. And Prabhupada writes in another purport, which we were reading some time back, that in 1898 there was a plague. There is plague in Calcutta, very deadly disease. Like Corona only, 100 years back there was plague. And there is no solution. People are dying like anything. So at that time, Gaudiya Math, one Babaji, says, let us do Harinam. So he calls people on the streets and does Harinam, goes home to home and does Kirtan. Prabhupada writes in that letter that I was a small boy, I could not even reach to the knees of those people, but I remember clearly that they were chanting and dancing and doing Harinam Sankirtan. And plague went away. Within short time, plague went away. And the newspaper articles wrote. So what did they write? They wrote that Harinam Sankirtan drives away plague. So in those newspapers it was coming. And it is true incident and it is recorded in the history. Right? So this is the power of Harinam Sankirtan. So no matter pandemic may be going on, whatever may be going on, but Harinam Sankirtan should never stop. So here morning Mangalarti and Guru Puja and chanting Japa and evening Kirtans. So it should go on, and that is the only hope by which the sinful reactions can be counteracted and happiness and peace can be established in the world. So that's what we learn from this. It is also said that when Lord Varahadev shook his body, at that time the transcendental water from his body also sprinkled, and then the sages felt themselves very much purified. So there is a verse in 3rd canto, before it came, I think, 12th chapter. Yeah, 3:13:44. Vidhundmata vedamayam nijam vapurjanastapasatya nivasino vayam satashikoddhuta vimalambu bindubhir vimbrujyamana bhrishamesha pavita. So when Lord Varahadev was shaking his body, right, here also it is said vidhunvataha. Same word is here also. Vidhunvataha vedamayam nijam vapur. His body is made up of Vedas. Varahadev's body is Vedas personified. And Janas tapas satya nivasino vayam. So the sages are praying, offering their prayers to Varahadev, and they are telling, we the residents of Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, we feel very much purified. Isha pavitaha. We feel purified by the water which is sprinkled from your hair. Sata shikodhuta shivambu bindubhir. The water ambu, with water, shivambu means holy auspicious water, like Charanamrit, holy water. So shivambu, shiva means auspicious. Shivambu bindubhir vimrujyamana, and we have been sprinkled on, and we feel very purified. Let's say after every arati we get that arghya water, and then devotee goes and sprinkles on everybody's Jagraturu, sometimes, many times, takes and sprinkles. So one should feel oneself very purified. So here Lord Varahadev had just come out of water, so his body was wet, and he started fighting with Hiranyaksha. So when he was doing like this, it fell. I heard that even in Melkote there is a pond, which is called Varaha Pushkarani. So one drop of that water fell here also. And that is a Pushkarani, huge pond. So Varahadev was huge, no? He was lifting whole Bhumandala, means how big he must be. That huge form he had appeared. And he initially had appeared like a thumb, small thumb size, through the nose. of Brahmadi. And then he became huge. And then when huge form he took, then rishis got afraid. Who is this? Is he another demon? Already Hiranyaksha is troubling. And then this strange creature. Then Lord understood the fear in the heart of his devotees, so he roared. When he made the transcendental roar, it gave confidence to the sages. Then they understood he is our Lord. Then they start offering prayers to the Lord, Varahadev. So that's about this verse. And Kushagra's description continues in the next sloka also. Kushakashamayam barhir astirya bhagavan manuho ajayad ayajad yajna purusham labdha sthanam yato bhuvam. Manu spread a seat of Kusha and Kasha and worshipped the Lord, the personality of Godhead, by whose grace he had obtained the rule of terrestrial globe. So, purport, Manu is the father of mankind, and therefore from Manu comes the word man, or in Sanskrit, Manushya. See, the Sanskrit words are matching, most of it. No? I was just thinking this also, like if you see, even if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you also see, the Sanskrit words, ekam, dve, trini, 3 and trini matching. Pancha, 5, almost matching. Shat, 6. Sapta, 7. Ashta, 8. 9, Nava. So, Dasha, 10. So, matching, almost matching. Huh? Yeah, Latin came from Sanskrit. Right? Prabhupada says Christ, Christos, Krishna, Krishna. There is no difference. Right? Christ is another way of pronouncing Krishna. Prabhupada says. So the root words are coming from Sanskrit, so the language also matches. So the word man comes from Manu. Those who are in a better position in this world have sufficient wealth. Having sufficient wealth should especially take lessons from Manu, who acknowledged his kingdom and opulence to be gifts from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus always engaged in devotional service. Similarly, the descendants of Manu are human beings, especially those who are situated in well-to-do condition, must consider that whatever riches they have are gifts from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those riches should be utilized for the service of the Lord in sacrifices performed to please Him. That is the way of utilizing wealth and opulence. No one can achieve wealth, opulence, good birth, a beautiful body, or nice education without the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, those who are in possession of such valuable facilities must acknowledge their gratefulness to the King, to the Lord, by worshipping Him and offering what they have received from Him. When such acknowledgement is given either by family, nation, or society, their abode becomes almost like Vaikuntha, and it becomes free from the operation of threefold miseries of the material world. So Prabhupada is telling that those who are wealthy or having wealth, they should use the wealth in serving Krishna and propagating Krishna consciousness. What Manu was doing here? See, Manu was doing, he was worshipping the Lord. Ayajad yajna purusham labdha sthanam yato bhuvam. So whatever wealth he had acquired, with that he was worshipping the Lord. Right? So it means that whatever possessions we have, we should think that it is Krishna's given and we should use it for service of the Lord. In 8th canto Bhagavatam, Manu Maharaj's description continues, where he says, Atma avasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tektena bhunjita imagradakasya siddhanam. So Manu is offering prayers to the Lord in this way. He says, Atma avasyam idam sarvam. Similar to Ishopanishad verse, first verse. So instead of Ishavasyam, he says Atma avasyam. Atma is Supreme Lord, Paramatma. Everything is belonging to Supreme Lord. Everything is under the control of the Supreme Lord. It's in His Vasha, Atma Vasyam, Idam Sarvam, Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat. Whatever you see in this world is belonging to the Lord. So what we should do? We should take whatever is required for us. Tena Tyaktena Bunjita. Tyakta means whatever is our quota, we take it. No? Yeah, sometimes in kitchen sweet is made, no? And it is written only two per piece, two per person. Tena Tyakta, it is quota is assigned for you. If you take more, what will happen? दूसरे को नहीं मिले. So then that will create envy, that will create unnecessary competition in the people's heart. So त्यक्त है. So इसलिए जितना कोटा है उतना लेना है. मा गृदक कस्य स्विद्धनम. So don't be greedy for more wealth and possessions. Right? So this is the art of living. How to live in this world is understanding that everything belongs to Supreme Lord. And we should use everything in the service of the Supreme Lord. Tena tiktena bhunjita magradakasya svidam. So here also Manu Maharaj is using his wealth for performing yajnas for the pleasure of Krishna. Kushakashamayam barhir astirya bhagavan manuho ayajat yajna purusham. See, Manu is also called as Bhagavan. Because Manu is, even great personalities are also called as Bhagavan. Bhagavan Naradaha, Bhagavan Vyasaha, right? See also Bhagavan Manu. And in one sense it is true also because Swayambhu Manu is an expansion of Lord Vishnu. He is avatar of Lord Vishnu, Shaktavesh avatar. So in that sense it fits here also. Because in the first Manvantara, the first day of Brahma, all the roles were taken by Lord only. Manu, Devatas, Indra, everybody became. So to protect Manu, Swayambhu Manu, Manvantara avatar Yajna comes. So he Yajna only becomes the Indra also later on. So in this way all the roles initially were occupied by Supreme Lord, and later on from Manu comes sons. Uttanapada, Priyavrata, Devahuti, Akuti, Prasuti. And then their descendants, they become future Manus, especially the sons of Prasuti and Priyavrata, they become future Manus for the next 14 Manvantaras. So that is described in the 8th canto of Shiva Bhagavatam. So because this Devahuti is married to Kardamanu, she will produce many children, especially Kapila. Right? And then Akuti, Prasuti, they were also married to sages. And Uttanapada was married to Suniti, Suruchi, and then Priyavrata was also married. And then the dynasties increased. So in the later parts, these descendants took the roles. So in the first Manvantara, Manu himself was an expansion of Supreme Lord. Ayajat Yajna Purusham. And to teach all of us, Manu is worshipping the Supreme Lord, Yajna Purusha. So Krishna is called Yajna Purusha. Labdha sthanam yato bhuvam. Then Prabhupada writes in the purport that, so those who have got wealth, possessions, they should be grateful to the Lord that God has given us, and one should try to engage it in Lord service. Like kings before, they used to make big temples. The wealth they used to use for constructing temples. Apart from all the security and social welfare activities, one of the important activities they used to do was make temples and arrange facilities for propagation of Krishna consciousness. Similarly, rich people also should do this. And some people do. So Prabhupada writes one Singhania family, I think, where they used to have a lot of, they were rich. And early morning in their home, in the center of their home, there is an altar like this. Their home was like a palace, and in center they had the temple, and there was everyday attendance. Prabhupada writes, and if somebody is late, there will be punishment. What is the punishment? writing Mahamantras. So punishment was, if somebody comes in, they should give 10 rupees. At that time, it was big money, something like 1,000 rupees. So they had strict attendance. Nobody should miss the morning program. So like that culture was there. Prabhupada writes that he visited that home and he saw this culture. So in the center of the home, there is a temple. And temple was not, it was their private temple, but also sometimes they used to call everybody and then have gatherings and festivals, Bhagavad Katha, such kind of things they used to arrange. And also prasad distribution. Like we have these Birla temples. They're owned by the Birla families, but they're public temples. Anybody can go and visit. So like that, the rich people should use their wealth in constructing temples and for propagating Krishna consciousness. In the modern age, the mission of Krishna consciousness is for everyone to acknowledge the supremacy of Lord Krishna. Whatever one has in his possession must be considered a gift by the grace of the Lord. Everyone therefore should engage in devotional service through Krishna consciousness. If one wants to be happy and peaceful in his position, either as a householder or citizen or member of human society, one must promote devotional service for the pleasure of Lord. Yeah. So what is the mission of ISKCON? Is to establish that Krishna is the master of entire world. And that everybody should serve Krishna, then they will be happy. Right? It is with this vision that Prabhupada established temples. Some people ask, wow, what is the need to establish temple? And that too big temple, like I was staying in Kannada device session there, one person asked, ನೀವು ISKCON temple ಬಂದರೆ temple ದೊಡ್ಡ, it looks like a very big building and sometimes it doesn't look like temple only. So why it is like this? Then I said, Prabhupada, yes, Prabhupada built temples, but he had a different idea of temple. He said, our temple should be like university. A university where teaching about Krishna happens, where one teaches that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, he is the master of the whole universe. So to teach Krishna consciousness, we also need auditoriums, we also need gathering places. Apart from worshipping the Lord, the altar, we need all the facilities. So Prabhupada designed temples in such a way that all these facilities can be accommodated. Just like when you go to university campus, Vishwavidyalaya, there are so many buildings, so much space and teaching facilities available. Similarly in ISKCON also, all these teaching facilities must be available. And if you are glorifying Krishna, the Lord of the universe, how can you have a small temple? Right? Even small rich people, they have hundreds of acres of land, and somebody was showing me the Putin's palace in Russia. Now, Putin's palace, it is an island where nobody can access. Only top security people can only go, and then somebody was showing me the video. High security and like huge, like a, cannot even describe the opulence, such kind of opulence he has. See, ordinary Prime Minister of one country out of 180 countries can have such big facility. How much the Lord of the universe should have, isn't it? That somebody asked Pejawar Swami that, why are you making a diamond kirita for Krishna? Why are you wasting so much of money? And Pejawar Swami, Vishwatirtha Swami, has replied, when Prime Minister comes, President of this country comes, how much expenditure do you make? For coming from Delhi to one city for 1 hour and going back, how much expenditure is made? If he comes with a own flight, right? And when he's coming, he's not coming alone, all the ministers also come. And the state chief minister, governor, sab aa jate hain. And there is army, 20 cars in the front, 20 cars behind, and there are many cars which look similar, so you don't know where he is sitting, right? Somebody may attack, so all the security is made tight, and then all the road is cleared, roads are made for him. At once I saw that for temple opening in Pune, morning we come and say road is ready. Yesterday it was not there, morning it is ready. So overnight they come and make the road and everything. So because president is coming, and they make a helipad is not there in some city, they instantly make the helipad so that he can land. And all that, and it takes crores of rupees. One visit cost crores of rupees. Right? And like this daily, for calculate for a year and whole 5 years, how much expenditure for one person's visit you are making. And here Krishna is there, the master of the whole universe. We are offering him one small diamond crate. What is your problem? So in this way, the acharyas know how to glorify Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Mahapurana ki jai.